Good morning, guys. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training in Benzo, who's out first thing in the morning here, trying to set up pattern and routine with him. Now, I watched back the video yesterday of me yakking at the screen and petting the dog, and a couple things I noticed right away that I wanted to accent. Dogs, he's 18 months of age, so he's just coming into himself, right? Hormones, everything else, getting to be a cock of the walk, you know, all proud. Dogs don't generally, of this size, don't mature until about 2.5 years of age, right? Totally. But at about 12, 18 months of age, in here, between here and 24 months of age, this dog's going to come into himself. He's doing it now. He's at that stage. And what I was doing yesterday was a lot of desensitizing and petting the dog and paying attention to his attitude. I noticed a couple things. One, he's a little twitchy about the head. He kind of jerks a little bit. He hasn't trying to bite me, but still, it's there if I let it happen. If I'm not aware of and paying attention, this dog could end up being a problem. Another thing I noticed when I was watching the film is I'm doing this desensitizing the animal, petting him, seeing what his mental attitude is in that regards. And there's a lot of things that I do without even thinking. And I came back to it and I noticed it, and I was aware of it yesterday, but I didn't really key in on it as much. But it's just because I've been doing it so long, and I just kind of, one of those things that you guys may not realize, good boy, good, is dogs have a hormonal type of response. When you praise them right back here, it's right above back of the haunches right there, and you're scrubbing, you'll get a humping motion, and you'll get aggression if you're not careful with a dog that's going through his hormonal changes and everything. They're excited, and when you kind of praise that area, you'll see him kind of, that's an area that he can end up getting aggressive or coming back on me, but it's a hormonal stimulation that stimulates the dog to get horny, have a sexual type of reaction. That's going to get you in trouble if you're not aware of it. So one of the things I'm doing when I'm doing that is I'm seeing what his reaction is when I praise him in that area, right? And you see the dog, he starts, okay? So you got to be careful and be able to understand the emotional states of the dog overall, and realize what this could cause on a different dog. Maybe, you know, that's why I'm doing it. Some dogs might get, you know, rotties, and other dogs might get pretty damn aggressive when they get sexually stimulated, because you're praising them right above their junk, and that's just kind of creates this whole emotional state of mind. So be careful in that regards. Be aware of it. And then I do it unconsciously. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, we see another behavior that we just spotted. Okay, so this isn't good. This dog's been at home, probably a lot of pent-up boredom, not being able to be worked. He hasn't been developed from a puppy the way I would, and that causes a lot of neurotic behavior. This is what you're seeing right now. What you're seeing is a dog is probably chasing bees or bugs or other things, shadows. You ever hear about the laser? You take a laser on the ground and start stimulating the dog, he'll go crazy. People think that's cute, and they end up with a dog that has a problem. Look at him, okay? So right away, again, second day, you start to see the dog come out of himself, and you start to see more of the dog's ingrained instincts that are there from behaviors, being bored, sitting in the backyard. One of the things he's got is a fetish on dirt. See it? They think it's just dirt. It's not dirt. It could be chasing shadows. It could be, and these type of problems in the dog's mental psyche could end up being, okay, he's going, it's started, okay, I can see what's going on now. The dirt's not the fact that they go, do you ever have a dog that has a dirt fetish? They didn't say fetish, they said a neurosis or whatever the word that they used, and I didn't see it until I got him back to the kennel. I've got one kennel that's a little bit off of the mats, and it's got a little bit dirt on the outside edges, and he starts going towards it, see it? And this is the sort of thing that we may not be able to get rid of totally, and it may be a neurotic behavior that we have to deal with. That's not a good thing, okay? So this behavior you're seeing is him chasing shadows is where it started. He saw the glint of the ground, and there, look what he was doing, right? So we've got to try to figure out, how do I redirect the dog and get him away from this? And it may be something that he never gets away to totally, and it's a neurosis. It's something that'll stay with the dog for the rest of his life because it got imprinted as a young dog. And again, it's all about environment. Look at this, okay? This is all stress related. Hey, quick. Okay, and again, it's me seeing things in the animal within this first 2 or 3 days of working with the animal that you start seeing that this is going to dictate what we need to do with the dog's training, etc. and then it's going to be hard to get him away from this. I kind of have an idea how we would do it, but we've got to build the dog through a lot of stuff and get him in a different place mentally. Good boy, good. There you go, good boy, good. There you go, good. Seats, okay? So just because I might be having a good time now doesn't mean that this dog's going to not start manifesting a lot of other things based on stress. The honeymoon period, the dog's head's in a totally different spot until he starts to relax and starts getting comfortable. This is shadows that's happening, and he's chasing after the shadows, and then they think it's dirt. It's not the dirt, it's where this stuff starts from. No, quit. This is going to be an interesting case. This is the sort of thing why I tell people all the time, they always ask me what my prices are. Yeah, my price is based on my consultation and being able to see things. With this customer, I didn't have any customers in. I like the fact the dog's an 18-month-old dog. The owner is a truck driver, so he makes good money. He might want to keep going with the animal. And the dog's got potential, but these outside edges, these little areas of behavior and things we have to be aware of. Hup, hup. This is where it started. It started with shadows. So it's shadows he's going after, and he doesn't know the difference, and pretty soon he's dwelling on the dirt. But it's becoming from this, there's a word for it, I'm sure, that I'm not keying in on. Nope. That I've got, now I've got to deal with a whole nother behavior thing that I've got to work on. So we're talking muzzles, we're talking getting the dog in a crate, and now this behavior that I'm gonna have to deal with, right? That's why I always tell people when they ask me what my price is, depends on what we're trying to work on. Now this is gonna set me back because I'm gonna have to deal with this, and I haven't even got him out in public yet, right? We still gotta get out in public and all kinds of things we need to do. So my biggest point, what I'm trying to do, an accent in this regards to Benzo, is that it's so critical. And that's why we call it critical development periods, okay? The animal is just like a child developing. Think about your own child. Don't you want your child to develop into a very stable and well-developed person so they can handle any stressors that come at them in life and they can make a living and be successful in life, right? That's what every parent wants that for their child. So why wouldn't it be any difference for your dog, right? Start when they're a puppy and develop that puppy from 8 weeks old. When I get a puppy, I'm working that dog right away. Environment, people, places, things. I'm doing everything to develop strength in the animal and to get the dog to have a very stable mental attitude in life and to not be a neurotic mess, okay? Now, I don't know how well we're going to be able to get this through it. I have some ideas how we'll tackle it, but it may take another month session. I mean, if we're going to get rid of all this stuff and be dwelling on this, they've missed a lot of critical development periods, and they've got neurotic behavior based on the fact the dog's just been in the backyard or in the yard overall, and you know, the sun comes glistening through your gazebo, and the dog starts chasing little bugs, and you don't think anything of it, and pretty soon it grows into neurotic behavior. And that's what we've got with this dog. Yep. So I have to keep an eye on it and then figure out what I need to do to get the dog away from it and not have the dog's head go to that place emotionally where they're stuck in that. It's a very neurotic behavior, and it can be dangerous. Okay, a lot of people think it's cute to get their cat to chase the laser, right? And they play with it, One day they come home and their whole curtains and everything are shredded. Why? Because the sun is coming through the curtains and glistening, and the cat's bored, nothing to do, and pretty soon he starts jumping up thinking he's going after that laser. You come home and your whole curtains are shredded, right? These are neuroses. They're neurotic behavior you do not want to let get started, because if they do, they're harder than hell to get rid of out of the dog, okay? So just keep it in mind. It's very important to accent on these things that I'm trying to accent with you so you start to understand them, right? Good. Nope, come on. So my goal today was to get him out and introduce him to the clicker, which I've already started yesterday afternoon when I did a session yesterday. You guys didn't see it. So I'm back to wanting to do, dang it. I had my clicker, where the heck did I put it? I wanted to work with that, was one of the main things. I wanted to show you something else. There it is, it's in my pocket. It's in my pocket, there it is, there it is. We're back to the clicker. Now, one of the things another trainer was talking about on his videos, he had a dog, he was starting to work with a clicker, and he goes, I don't use clicker that much, and then he was experimenting with it and doing it. So let me explain my philosophy in this regard. It's about clarity, and everything in training is timing. So I'm here, click, food, okay? Timing. When he hears this click, he knows something's going to happen. We'll keep building it up. But the biggest thing about a clicker, it has no change of modulation, meaning my voice tone goes up, down, it's all over the place. And I use that with my dog training, heavy, because I'm good at it, right? I can give it, yay, good boy, good. And a lot of trainers would say that chatter is not good for the dog. Reality and truth is you have another communication tool to be able to communicate to the dog what you want. Try to get some approximation. So right now I'm breaking them into the clicker, but why I do this, and I don't use it that much, but when I need something, I need exact timing and I need exactness and I want to have very clear communication to the dog, there's no better clarity than a clicker. And why is that? Because my synapses from my brain to my thumb are almost immediate, and you can't beat the timing in regards to that. When I go like this, my brain thinks click, and right away it just lines up. There's just something about a clicker in your thumb, right? It gives you timing like nothing else. I've been to seminars where I've gone and did click treat for a whole weekend with chickens, and click treating chickens and getting them to go around little cones and things like that. And it's all about teaching you to have better timing. So if you want to have better timing, work with a clicker for a while and work in timing in regards to you having good timing in your training, and then starting to understand how classical condition works. And then I put this in my toolbox afterwards, and I can bring it out anytime I want to. The dog's already got some familiarity to it, and I can start using it when I want to have some exactness in what I'm working on. Now, I can still use my no, good, and yes marker is the same as your clicker. It's a terminal bridge marker. It means the behavior's done, you can go into drive. So I usually do it like this. Up, good boy, good, good, good. Where I'm here, and then I bounce backwards. Yep, there's my YEP marker, which is an explosion release. It's very similar to the YES. Nope. Hey, yeah, we're gonna have to do some work to get him to stop this. He's doing it because his brain goes to there. He's starting to loosen up, right? He's not as worried, so now he's starting to relax, and that relaxing is bringing out the behavior that's there. So this is a neurotic behavior that's going to be working. We may not get rid of it totally all the way. Understanding is the first stage. Awareness, being cognizant of something, awareness and being aware of it is the first step in you being able to solve the problem. So I see it, right away I'm aware of it. There's where experience comes in. Another trainer might not even have noticed it. Or it would have got a lot worse before he did, right? Good boy, good, there you go, good boy, good, there you go. That's my boy, good. Good boy, good. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Now you didn't realize that, but I put both hands on his neck and I'm praising because I want to see no, where the dog's head's at. Now this is going to get in my way. I'm going to have to work with this neurotic behavior and then try to redirect it. It's what I told the customer when I picked this dog up, and it's normal, is with a dog like this, a lot of your work is what we call recovering the animal. We got to recover the animal and get him out in public and do all this work to get the dog to be at a baseboard that we can even really get a good amount of progress towards behaviors. Because everybody thinks, and you've heard me say it a million times, that training is heel, sit down, stay, that it's behaviors. No, it's not. It's emotional states of mind, where this dog's head's at in the work. That's what matters. The behaviors really come last. I can teach a dog to stand on his head and spin for all that matters. If I really wanted to put the heavy work into it, right? Or some of that focused heel stuff that they do out on the, yep, good boy, good. Out on the field. What did I just do? I did it again, didn't I? Put my clicker somewhere in a pocket, and then I lose it. Yeah, there you go. Good boy, good. All right, so this is going to be some work. This is not a dog that I would give to somebody that I didn't have knowledge in regards to being a trainer. Nope, come on, come on. Good boy, good. Okay, now the reason I was doing this and praising him with both hands and doing this is because I'm looking to get the collar on him soon, the pinch collar. Because like with this diving into the dirt, I don't have much purchase on yanking this slip collar. That slip collar is designed to be used in a different way. So it gives me limited ability in what a pinch collar would give me, which is taps, right? And something the dog's going to respect and take notice to. If I give a yank on this, I could actually, if I give too hard a yank, trying to bring up my correction level, I can actually hurt the dog. It's not designed to have that way. It's designed to basically choke the dog out when he tries to get aggressive and take the wind away from the dog so his brain goes to a different place. All about the dog's emotional states of mind. And I explained that one in regards to why I use a slip collar for aggression, because a pinch collar is going to give the dog a flood of pain. And when I'm trying to hang the dog up or put him up in the air, take him off his feet so he doesn't have the purchase to tear into me, with that pinch collar, with a certain breeds, especially with Connies and Pit Bulls and things like that, their genetics are such that they're going to end up getting more aggressive with that flood of pain, right? So the slip collar is used to take the wind away from the dog, and his brain goes to a different place. And the way I explain it is, if you were trying to rescue somebody that was drowning and they're in a panic, and you go out there and you know better than to get near them because they might put you down, right? They might hit you or whatever, and you're going to die, right? You're going to drown. So you have to do things that are going to be to establish something with that person that takes their brain to a different place. Yep. Good boy. Good. So when you use the dominant dog collars and the slip collars, and you're taking the wind away from the dog, the brain goes to a different place because they can't breathe. And that ends up being conducive to what you need to be able to keep the dog a lot more stable and down, and you don't have to flood him with pain by trying to use a tool that's not applicable to that, right? So there's a reason that we use slip collars. And as usual, we started using them and they got pretty popular a few months ago, a year ago, whatever, when we really started to get into the slip collars, and us balanced dog trainers that know how to use aversives and do all this stuff, that we had to face this positive starting to be negative against dog getting choked. Oh my God, because you're purely positive always want to poo-poo us and come down on us when we use corrective measures. Reality and truth. So many dogs can be saved with a balanced trainer that knows what he's doing versus somebody that has no clue and only uses a couple quadrants and doesn't use all 4 quadrants of the training and the operant conditioning. Nope. Good. And doesn't understand it because they don't ever face this. Without having to do it and understanding what happens with a dog when you're using aversives, you're never going to have that in your tool bag. And you're not going to be able to save half the dogs that I can save, or a good balanced trainer is going to be able to save, right? I've saved thousands of dogs. Same thing. This dog ended up becoming too much of a pain in the ass. The people get rid of the dog, and the dog's the one that suffers. He goes to the pound, he gets put down. That's so unfair, and that's just because of the ignorance of a person and the throwaway society that we live in. That's why I'm so anti-rescue, because it's not the dogs, it's the people. And it irritates the hell out of me that you get all these unexperienced people that want to just have a bleeding heart and save animals, and they don't realize they're causing more of a problem, because now there's thousands of dogs. Back in the 70s and 80s, when I was first getting started in my trade, we didn't have all these rescues and all these dogs. There's thousands more dogs, and there's a lot more getting put down because of that, right? If I had my way, and I won't go into it because there's going to be so many people pissed off at me, my attitude about rescue is that I would have a change of rules overall. Nope. What I'm trying to do is get him to go down in a down position. I don't want to put my face in his, and I don't trust him well enough yet to be able to, good, put my face down and put him in and place him into a down, which is what I would normally want to do. We'll get there. Again, I'm not worried about behaviors right now. I'm more worried about starting the conditioning, the clicker, and seeing things in the dog's behavior. I mean, I didn't see this yesterday. I see it today, though, don't I? So now I know I've got a whole nother situation to deal with. And to the owner, you realize it's not just dirt. He's chasing shadows. He's chasing glints of sun. That got him started on the dirt. That's what he thinks it's coming from. So it's going to be some work to overcome that. We will get there. But I've got to make sure I balance the dog, get him doing some things, get him out in public, all kinds of stuff that I need to do. Good. I don't know if you noticed that. I kept playing with it until he finally gave me a little bit towards the down, and I clicked it right away. And I'll keep doing things, like that give me what I need to teach the dog to go down. So let's do it again. And I'm trying to tie it. He doesn't understand the clicker that much yet. He will. And once he gets that figured out, the click means he's getting the food. We can get the timing we need to start conditioning behaviors a little bit more. The other thing that I'm using that you see me doing is luring. I'm using the food for 90% of everything I'm doing right now, right? And that's a very standard thing in training as well. We use luring. Nope. Now I clicked. Good. There you go. Good. And I didn't give it to him. One of the cardinal sins. If you click, you got to give it to the dog. But I did it on purpose because he's going to start using it. The first negative that he's going to have is me robbing him of food when he doesn't do what I want. So when he doesn't do the right thing, I don't give him the food. I don't give him the food until he does what I want, and then I click. Okay, so now I've got kind of a half down. He's not all the way down yet. And then I'll use the table as time goes along. Down is where, hey, no. I'll put you up in the air so fast you won't see straight, buddy. Good, good. Yep. Now, if he would have vocalized it all and went really after me, I would have put him up in the air and he would have been hung up. You guys would have saw me correcting a dog. I don't like to let people see it, but if it's got to be done, I'm not going to let the dog bite me, and he has to learn, and that's how we all learn. We all learn from consequences, either positive or negative, right? And that's just the way it is. All God's animals on God's green earth learn from positive and negative. You go down the street, you see a cop parked off the side, what do? You slow down because you don't want to get a ticket, right? It's very standard. I got one hot dog. It's all I got left. I want to leave him in a spot. Come on. Come on. Nope. Nope. You are a challenge, buddy. Yeah, he's going to be some work. Should have charged him some more money. He's lucky. He caught me when I didn't have any dogs, and I saw the dog, and I went, yeah, good boy, good. There you go. Good. Good. That's my boy. Good. That's my boy. Good. Good. Okay, I'm grabbing the jowl, give a little bit of a, and I'm expecting aggression coming from him. I'm kind of actually trying to cause it. Not so much that it's unfair, but just enough to say, don't be stupid, so that I can correct him and then he'll learn from that correction. Good. Good. The other one came from the excitement. He decided to try to use his mouth. It wasn't an all-out aggression, show of aggression, but it was. You know, you got to stop it. Timing. Don't let it even get going. Good. All right, yep, let's go. Good boy. All right, guys, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training with Benzo with his third session. We did one yesterday. We didn't film it. Talk to you guys later.